iFILM, London. iFILM, London.
This is Coogan Cassis for iFILM London. We're at the Frank Warren offices here in Turnford for the weigh-in between Junior Witter and Frankie Gavin. With me, I've got renowned trainer DOMINIC INGLE. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good, doing good, very good. Yeah, we're here for the weigh-in, and you know, both fighters have weighed in. They look very good. Junior's in fantastic shape. We've had him training alongside the hottest prospect in welterweight prospect in Britain in the minute, Kell Brook, and and yeah, he's training well. So you know, he's ready for this fight. He's 38 years young. He's rejuvenated. You know, we've had him under the guidance of Sheffield Hallam University. We've had him, you know, his heart rate tested. We've had him on a high performance program, and I think Frankie Gavin's going to get a shock on the night.
I see some wind-up tactics before they weighed in. I like that. It was good. It was sort of making the weigh-in more interesting rather than them just staring at each other. A ploy to maybe put Frankie Gavin off?
Not really. I mean, let's be honest. You look at Frankie's record. I think he's had about 13 fights, and you know, like I said before, he's feasted on faded champions and kids who are well past the sell-by date, which is a bit of a confidence booster. But unfortunately, you know, everybody has to have a fight. What actually puts them in the mix? And for Frankie Gavin, he's got to be Junior Witter. You know, Junior might be 38 years old, but the experience he brings to the table, he's still keeping up with the kids in the gym. You know, he's a sparring partner of Kell Brook. And if you can spar with Kell Brook and get through the rounds, you know, Frankie Gavin's not going to be a problem. And I think it's going to be a big wake-up call for Frankie Gavin. You know, we've had bits in the past of Frankie saying, you know, he's got personal problems and everything else. And to be honest, all his personal problems are going to come to a head in this fight. He's going to be thinking when Junior's whacking him, everything what's gone wrong over the last couple of months, you know, like when he pulled out the first time, that's all going to be running through his head. So it's not really something I need to do at the way, you know, put him off his game, because really I think the damage is already done with Frankie, and it's make or break for him.
Obviously, there's no question about what Junior Witter has accomplished at world level and at domestic level. But like you said, at 38 years old, what do you believe that he's still got in the tank?
Well, every fight, you know, like I said to Junior when he boxed Colin Lyons, a lot of people tip Colin Lyons to win. You know, he beat Lee Purdy, who's, you know, a good tough fighter, and you know, Colin Lyons run rings around him, and then Junior went and beat Colin Lyons. I know it's fighter A beats B beats C, whatever, but with Junior, you never know what's going to happen on the night. But all I can say is the way he's trained, you know what I mean, the way he's trained for this fight, and the inexperience that Frankie's got. The combination of that, Junior's experience against Frankie Gavin's inexperience, is what's going to win Junior the fight.
Are people around you generally a little bit frightened of you?
Are you frightened of me?
Well, I'm around you now. I'm not nervous now because you've got a nice smile on your face. But no, a few people I get the feeling they're a bit, oh, it's DOMINIC INGLE.
No, I don't think so. I mean, if they do, it's totally unjust. I mean, I'm a nice guy. I'm not. There's no reason for anybody to be scared of me. But you know, I suppose some people could have that attitude, couldn't they?
Do you know what? The first moment of Ingleness, shall we say, I had was I think Kell Brook had beaten. He had a fight, Matthew Hatton.
And I told you to get out of the changing room.
You didn't tell me. You told everyone, about 20 men.
Well, the
to
thing
get
is,
out.
what you got to understand, you know, even when the fight's finished, the fight's not finished. You know, Kell Brook, you have to do a drug test afterwards. The last thing you want is people floating around in the changing room when Kell Brook's got to rehydrate, drink water, and he's got to do a drug test. I'm not saying it can happen, but you've got to cut out you've got to cut out the risk of anybody contaminating his water. He's got a drug test to pass. So you've got everybody and anybody in that changing room. You know, you could have anybody tampering with the water, and if you get pulled up and you fail a drug test, you can't say, well, you know, there was 50 people in the changing room and I don't know that. You know, that's the situation. It should actually be a controlled environment and nobody should actually be in. And that was the most important thing. So people forget, just because he had a great win, you know, anybody wants to do the interviews and everything. Everybody's mum and dad were in that change room that night.
Yeah, no, I agree.
People we didn't know. So you've got to get them type of people out, and you've got to be careful of them kind of things happening in boxing. So, you know, that's why it were. Somebody had to make the call.
You went absolutely ballistic, though. I was in the middle of an interview with Kell, actually. I know you probably weren't referring, I hope you weren't anyway, to me, but there was a lot of people in there, and I do understand what you're saying about.
You can't make exceptions, can you? It's got to be everybody's got to be out. So it's just one of the things people forget after fights. They just think the fight's finished, and it's not. It goes on past that. Like I said, they've got to have a doctor to come in and have a look at you. You've got to do a mandatory drug test, which is fantastic. But you've just got to take out the element of risk, which is having other people in that change room that you don't know, that could be in for different reasons apart from doing what you do very well, interviewing people, and you know, it just cuts that element of risk out.
Right, Dominic, thank you very much for talking to iFILM London. Intriguing match-up tomorrow night at York Hall between your fella and Frankie Gavin. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
We will. Watch this space. Box Nation, Junior Witter to retain his title.
No problem.
London.